Kansas was in the running, Indiana, a couple other schools since I decommitted. So, I just feel like, Indiana was the best opportunity. For me, and I just feel like I made the best choice.
Is it true your mom reached out to Coach Woodson and said, would you be interested in recruiting my son?
I believe so. It was like, it went both ways, but my mom most definitely reached out. And then, they wasn't really on my radar at first. After, my dedication and consideration, they was at the top of my list.
Did you know anything about Indiana before you came here?
I heard a little bit about them, because Rutgers recruited me a little bit before, so I looked into the Big Ten and whatnot, see who was the competition for the schools like that.
Did you know anything about Coach Woodson, or?
Yeah, I know he coached for the Knicks, because I was in contact with Melo a little bit before I committed, so he had a lot of influence on that as well.
So you visited here for a weekend. What did they do to convince you, sell you to come here?
The inclusiveness really was sold me. It was like, it really felt like home. All the coaches, they were selling me their truth. There was no, no gimmicks. I would say everything was truthful. I felt like it was very pure. So it just flowed, and then from there on, committed.
Watching you in high school and AAU, obviously you got a ton of offensive gifts. What's the process of taking those offensive gifts and making them impactful this year in college?
Just playing within my game. I feel like not getting split up, playing within the offense, giving what the defense gives you, and then playing from there, trusting in the team, trusting in the coaching abilities, getting open shots, and then just doing the intangibles, crashing the boards, running the forward. Getting out to space, staying deep point.
Talking to some people who coached against you, they said that not only they said they think you're really underrated as far as a guy who thinks the game and studies the game. They even pointed out that you'll study Steph Curry things. Some really one of your coaches said he studies the nerdy stuff. Is that true?
That's very true. Yeah.
And sort of how did that develop? Because some guys who are just naturally gifted don't really get into that in high school. How did you get into really studying the nerdy stuff?
Well, it developed at a young age when I felt like, my talents can only take me so far. Then you have to focus on the skill aspect of it. So I feel like talent, and then the skill, and then there's that extra that you need to, get over that little hump. So I feel like if I focus on my footwork, focus on my shot mechanics, focus on cutting, things of that nature, will get me to where I need to go.
What do you feel are 3 or 4 things you're best at offensively? IU's got a possession, it's going to you. They're going to try to, hey, go get us a bucket. What are 3 or 4 things you think you're really good at?
Shooting the ball, back to the basketball stage, coming off scoring shot, and then attacking the rim.
What about Indiana and Coach Woodson, I guess, really interested your mom in the recruiting process when your recruitment opened back up?
I feel like Coach Woodson is just such a renowned coach. He has a lot of accolades to his name, and Indiana has this, good culture around us, and it's a great time to be in. So I just feel like, why not reach out?
What Melo tell you when you guys talk?
We spoke a lot, actually. We spoke during my high school season and a little bit before I committed. He just told me a little bit about Coach Woody, how he is as a coach, how he wants you to be the best player you can be at IU. And then he told me his coaching style, how he's a hard coach, very old-fashioned, and that the stuff that he does translates to games, like the middle style. Not a lot of people do that, but he's doing that as a defense, and how it translates to the game, how it helps him. He's all about helping his players out, putting his players in the best position. So,
you obviously have goals of getting to the NBA. How important is it to be able to play for a coach that's been at that level, can kind of tell you what it takes to get there?
I feel like it's very important because, he has experience in that, realm of being in the NBA and playing around those guys, how it's a business, and there's it's very cutthroat. And I feel like just being able to play under him, being able to learn under him, all the things he has to offer, I feel like it couldn't be a better.
What's been the biggest adjustment so far for you, just through the summer workouts? And I know you haven't started practice, but obviously getting into the season, it's going to be a different level of basketball than maybe we're used to?
Most definitely the physicality. I feel like Big Ten physicality is different from any other conference, honestly, just because of the size of the players and then the intensity. And also the defense. I feel like the defense is a little bit harder, learning. It's different reads, different greens, goals, coverages, and stuff like that. So just really locking down on defense and the physicality for sure.
Coach Woodson said there's like a sense of urgency to try to win now, win Big Ten titles, national titles.
For sure.
Have you heard that? Was that something that was talked about in the recruitment process? Just how much do you also feel that urgency to try to win now?
I feel like the urgency is now more than ever. Why wait? You know what I'm saying? We have all the tangibles right now. We got a footer, we got talented guards, we got gifted wings, you know what I'm saying? So we have all the tools to make it happen, so why not?
When you went through the recruiting process, and just kind of when you went through the recruiting process, not just talking about the conversations you had with Coach Woodson about your game and you working with him, but I guess the picture he painted for you of this team, what were some of the things he said he felt like this group would be capable of this season? Obviously a lot of new faces, but some key returning players, some really talented guys coming in. What was kind of the picture he painted?
Well, it's very different than last year's team, losing Trace, losing Fino, and the other starters. But he said most definitely wonderful. We're a faster team, you know what I'm saying? We're a little bit more mobile. We can rim run, we get the bigs the ball in the paint, we can get the wings out on the brick as well. I feel like we just more active as a team, I feel like.
Were Louisville or Kentucky, did they try and get involved after the decommitment from Duke?
Louisville did, Kentucky not as much.
You didn't ever visit Louisville?
I didn't. It was most definitely one of my top schools to end with, but I just never followed through with it.
What do you feel like it's going to take to develop the chemistry that, like with you and X and other guards? Obviously, you're adjusting to playing with new players. So how's that gone so far, and maybe what are things you're trying to work on to get that right before the season starts?
Most definitely just, learning X off the court just as well as on the court, because I feel like off the court chemistry is just as good on the court. And, playing with him from the summer, I feel like I got a good gist of how he plays, and he knows how I play, where he gets his shots from, where I get my shots on, and then how to get good shots in the offense. So I feel like the more we play together, the better we'll get.
Did you know Khalil Ware at all before you got here, and what are your impressions of him as a player?
Khalil is very talented. He can shoot the ball, he can stretch the floor, he can play back to the basket. So I feel like he has a lot to prove.
I'm sure your goal is to get to the league. Is it to get to the league next year?
Yeah.
Yes?
As much as you're comfortable with him, as much as you're comfortable talking about it, just what was the whole process in the spring of reopening your recruitment? Was it like kind of going through it? I imagine it's probably a little bit different, maybe a little bit more sped up in terms of realizing you've got a tighter timetable.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that at this time.
Can you talk about the stories going around that your mom really liked Mike Woodson and wanted IU to be involved because of him? What did she like about it?
Just not taking it easy.
Coach Woodson?
Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing not to like about Coach Woodson. He's a funny, very down-to-earth type of guy. He's very approachable, and he's straight to the point. He's a straight shooter. He doesn't play any games, and what he says, he does. He follows up on his word.
How did she know about him?